So Mayur, you are from West Bengal, right? Kolkata.
Yes, yes, sir. Nearby area, Domia.
Okay. Tell me, how would you define the economic status of West Bengal?
The economic status in terms of state GDP is sixth in the state. However, recently, the economic progress compared to the just the post-independent area, it's still not that promising. But we are showing progress in areas such as micro and small industries, the gems and jewelry. In that cases, I believe we are doing better. And also, sir, a very important aspect is our strengthening service sector, service economy, which is ongoing.
Okay. So if you are posted in West Bengal and you are asked to give your opinion regarding the economic development of West Bengal, what are the suggestions that you would give to the administration?
Yes, sir. Sir, considering the present situation of West Bengal compared to other states, I believe we can focus more on the service sector, not going to the heavy industries because we have kind of lagging behind. So probably better focus on service sector such as the new generation uh, artificial intelligence or machine learning, or also we can provide good telecommunication services such as the doctors and professional lawyers. In that case, this is one. Sir, secondly, sir, I believe that we have still not utilized our potential of the strategic location, which is very well connect West Bengal to the northeastern states and also the Asian countries. So this is the second one. And so thirdly, I would say that the tourism potential is also underutilized. It is probably the only state having Himalaya at one end and the sea at the other.
So what is the current status of this Darjeeling Hill area council? Has the issue resolved permanently or still is brooding?
Sir, it has been mostly resolved, but not completely yet. There are limited sporadic incidences that comes out, but majorly there is no. Right now, there is no major clashes regarding as it is before.
Tell me, before independence, uh, Bengal was divided. What is the basic reason behind the division of West Bengal? Did British achieve their purpose?
Sir, the division was one of the major factor is the divisive policy of the British government by dividing it into major communities. So in that cases, I would say, and because West Bengal is having a significant amount of both the communities, it is divided as per the Radcliffe line. The majority wise, the districts are divided. Uh, so the Britishers could achieve for, no, but I don't say because considering the present day relationship with India and Bangladesh, I believe that. And but after partition, there is also other than 1946, there is not any major communal clashes taken so far in West Bengal. So I believe this is not they cannot succeed in there.
There is a water sharing agreement between India and Bangladesh related to Ganges. So
Yes.
what are the provisions of that water sharing agreement, and what are the grievances of Bangladesh related to that?
Sir, right now I cannot recall the exact provisions, but it was regarding the amount of water sharing. And sir, Bangladesh has two major grievances. One is either India is not offering the enough water to be used, and secondly, sir, it's a release of water in overpowering. In case of excess rainfall, it divides or it floods range of area in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh is often nowadays called as the rising star of Southeast Asia. What is the reason behind that?
Sir, despite being marked as the basket case of economy, because of their high improvement in the development index and also the women literacy and the women financial empowerment is another term, it has also significantly made progress in textile industries, and also in few of the cases, it has overpowered India. In terms, so this is
Some experts also say that it's a mirage. What is the logic behind that?
uh, sorry, sir, I cannot get the word.
Okay. Now, let's talk about China. How exactly could China gain its economics might? What special did they do?
Sir, according to, I mean, as much as I know that China has very timely could capitalize their human capital. I mean, the booming period uh, after 1970s, and also led more development in the field of manufacturing, so that the huge number of population get absorbed. And also, sir, the early days, I mean, the advancement of economic liberalization was earlier, and it has a head start than compared to India, so it can make its progress in that.
And can that model be replicated in India?
Sir, the push on yes, sir. India, because India skipped. It has been told that India skipped the manufacturing development, so we have a problem with absorption of the excess population. But I believe that it is cannot be equally replicated, because India, the total social structure and the democratic versus the authoritarian government structure is different from India. We focus more on the development that is inclusive and considering everyone's views. So I do not believe that strict implications could be a good one. Also considering the one-child policy, which also failed in China, so that cannot.
What a recurrent skirmish with China, between China and India.
Because mostly one is a major thing so regarding the border issues in Arunachal and Ladakh areas. We are constantly seeing.
In 1962, China had annexed, or rather had gone into the areas which it claims right now also. Why
Yes.
did it go back in Arunachal as well as in Ladakh? It had entered into all those areas which it claims right now. It entered and then why did it vacate at that point of time?
Sir, I do not have the exact knowledge, but sir, one major force that I can say is the Chinese I mean, China are becoming more aggressive in terms of it may not be the actual acquisition, but also showing their power or their position as the major power in the Asian region. And sir, another one is the Dalai Lama taking after taking shelter in India. Probably the issue of Tibet area gets more complicated.
Okay, thanks, Mayuri.
Thank you, sir.
Mayuri, you did your BSc honors from famed Presidency College,
Yes.
right? Kolkata to be precise. And you went on to pursue your MSc in botany, and you pursued further research, PhD in at Institute of Chemical
Yes.
Biology or whatever. I don't know. Where is that institute located?
Sir, it is in Jadavpur, Kolkata, West Bengal.
Come again?
Sir, the institute, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, it is located at Jadavpur, Kolkata.
Oh, Jadavpur University campus?
No, sir, it is a CSIR institute. Near,
CSR. And I think you qualified this fellowship, JRF,
yes,
in botany.
in life science, sir.
Life
Near
science.
life science.
All right. So what has been, you almost through with your PhD?
Sir, I have submitted my thesis last week.
Okay. Oh, that's great. That's why you were so precise and wrote. Now, what was the topic of your research?
Sir, my topic was an exploratory research. I did the genome sequencing of two indigenous cyanobacteria. One of them has isolated from an hot spring. So we looked into their sequences in perspective of genomes and their stress response behavior, and what could be their potential as the producer of novel metabolites and also as a source of third generation biofuel.
And you accessed all your uh, data sources from secondary sources?
No, sir. I mean, the lab that I work, we have collected both the samples. We have extracted the samples from the hot spring. So it was the primary data only. Sir, I maintained both the wet lab and the dry lab part.
Okay. Now, how is the research from in physical sciences, just as yours, is different from social sciences? Where, do you see any difference?
Yes,
Social
sir.
sciences such as psychology, you have sociology, political science, and economics for that matter, and multidisciplinary disciplines such as management. So how is the research, and do you follow the same kind of a framework to carry out research?
Sir, I believe the social science research has a more sense of dynamism involved within. I mean, where we have to collect data from the people and depend on their perspective, other than like for subjects like economics, we can get some hard facts. But other than that, in field of sociology or political science, it's more about the perception, as per my understanding, sir.
And what about physical sciences, just as yours?
Sir, like in my cases, sir, we had an option to directly look in I mean, the changes that are not because in the society or the system itself, but because of the change in the methodology or the technologies as we grow.
Right. At least in your case, this is living organisms,
Yes, sir.
some kind of a similarity with the kind of population which you come across in in social sciences. So they are far more complex and unique in social sciences
Yes,
compared to here. You are just kind of observing living organisms and their behavior. Okay, maybe let me come to the first question. How does GPS work? Global Positioning System.
yes, sir.
What is the concept behind that?
Sir, with my limited knowledge, it captures the data from through the satellite from the locations itself, and then extrapolate it with the map to visualize the existence or the presence of such as the infrastructure or the forest resource. Etc.
How much is the accuracy involved, or percentage accuracy?
Sorry, sir, I do not exactly know the percentage.
And you didn't name the exact technique which is used in this entire affair of your satellite, and then you have an object on the Earth.
Infrared imaging is one technique. Sorry, sir. Then I'm
Triangulation.
I,
Triangulation is the technique which is used.
thank you, sir.
So they say plus minus 1 meter. It can go off no more than a couple of feet, right? What are the El Nino and La Nina? These are phenomena.
Yes, sir. These phenomena are recorded in the Pacific Ocean, the periodical warming of water.
Why does that happen?
I cannot recall the exact. I know that there is an overcome of drought and the
So what are the implications? Implications for weather in India,
implications is
climate.
yes, sir. So it's the change between rainfall and a drought season alternatively in the eastern coast of Australia, and it also implicates the Indian monsoon at a certain way, where in El Nino years we get lesser rainfall and La Nina years is the
You get heavy rains. La Nina.
sir.
Right.
Not
These
very-
are reverse phenomena. I mean, contrasting phenomena. El Nino is opposite of La Nina. Has something to do with the pressure and wind speeds, and that in turn affects the surface temperature, coastal area. Of course, these occur, as you very rightly said, in the Pacific Ocean. The origin is there. What is a black hole?
Sir, black holes are the remnants of a dead stars where no energy can pass through. I mean, if I am probably telling in a very layman's term, but that is all what I
Right.
know.
Why should you be speaking like a layman? You've been a science student. Anyway, what is dark matter?
Sorry, sir, I do not.
Doesn't matter. So, come to the next question. How do earthworms help the soil? That may interest, that may come from within your domain area.
Sir, earthworm helps in recycling. I mean, taking out the soil from a bottom surface to the upward, so that increasing the nutrient availability in the soil. That helps in agriculture.
And making more follows.
Aeration is also.
Maybe help, yeah, maybe help in irrigation. Who knows, right? Okay. Now, what are different layers of atmosphere, Mayuri?
So it starts from troposphere to stratosphere, then mesosphere and ionosphere,
Stratosphere and mesosphere.
mesosphere and ionosphere.
How are these categorized?
Sir, it is categorized depending on the sir, amount of components, the specific components.
Distance from the Earth's surface. Based on the distance from the nearest one, of course,
The
troposphere, and then followed by stratosphere, and mesosphere, and thermosphere. Distance from the Earth. What makes Mayuri unique?
Sir, sir, I believe I have interest in multiple areas, and I'm
Many of us have. Most of us have interest in multiple areas. The only thing, the areas differ. So, what makes Mayuri unique?
I'm unique in my sir. I am unique that I want to. I mean, I have an interest for both generalistic and specialistic areas. I have both converging and diverging interests. So that is all I can say right now.
We have both convergent and divergent, and convergence and divergence taken simultaneously makes you unique.
I can
Yeah, you could have explained it further, but I will not press you there. Now, if you were to put this question to yourself, and the answer which you get, if you could kind of share with the panel, that is, the question is, who am I? That means this question you're putting it to yourself. Who am I? And your reply should, each of the sentences, and there may not be more than 4 or 5, each sentence should start with I, okay? And I'm not looking for any of your strengths, your weaknesses, weaknesses. I'm not looking for any adjectives that describe you. Who really Mayuri is. You can take a few seconds to ponder over this, and 4 sentences describing you as a person.
I identify myself as an Indian. First, secondly, sir, I am a Bengali, and I had this cultural pride in me to a certain extent. Thirdly, I am an educationally empowered woman. And fourth one, so again, I like the diversity existing in my nation and around me.
Yeah, you like being diverse. Okay. And my last question to you is that if you were not born as human, what would you have liked to be born as, and why?
So can I?
Yeah. If you were not born as human being, what would you have liked to be born as, and why? I hope it's not too much.
No, sir, Sir, I would like to be born as a plant, as a the banyan tree, the great banyan tree that is there in the botanical garden at Kolkata, which is standing there for 250 years, experiencing all others, the experiences from the dependent from the Mughal period to the present day.
Okay. But why?
Sir, I believe it will give me, I would like to think myself who is sufficient for, I mean, who don't have to think for the day to day, the earnings for, I can make my own food. So I am confident and self sufficient in this way. And secondly, I have ample time to observe the things that are ongoing across me. And also being a part of the community changing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm through. Gautam.
Mayuri, you're from Kolkata.
Yes, sir, from near side and neighborhood.
Okay, okay. Tell me something about Rani Rashmani.
Rani Rashmani was most famous as the founder of Dakshineshwar temple. And what is more unique about it is, despite belonging from a family of Koiberto, which was then considered as one of the bottom categories in the caste system, specifically Shudras, she also shows a great sense of empowerment, considering, and she has, considering the establishment of a Hindu temple at the core heart of the Kolkata. And she is also known to help her disciples. I cannot recall the name of Prajas, but who are mostly the the fishermen community, and protect their rights from the Britishers who by making restrictions through the chains, heavy chains in Ganges. She put two heavy chains in Ganges, not allowing the British ships to enter, and thus protects the right of the fishermen.
Okay, okay, that's good. And you have passed out from Presidency College.
Yes, sir.
Who founded the Presidency College?
Sir, a group of people founded Presidency College. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was one of the most notable founder. Alongside, there are others like Ram Tunu. Sir, I cannot recall any other name at that time.
Okay, okay. Mayuri, can you tell me what is the contribution of manufacturing sector in West Bengal's economy?
Sir, the manufacturing sector, it empowers around 30% people of West Bengal, though this is mostly restricted towards small and medium scale and cottage level industry. So, despite absorbing a large number of people, the per capita income is not that much. But however, considering the handicrafts and other traditional manufacturing industries, it can help us to create a brand name for few of the products of Bengal. And the heavy manufacturing industries that were initially there, like steel, these are not as far as it should function.
Okay, okay. If I say that trade unionism and law and order issues are the main barriers in promoting manufacturing in West Bengal, is it true?
Sir, considering, I cannot deny that Bengal has an image related to that it is not favorable for investors. But considering the present day scenario, where with a push towards manufacturing, I cannot fully subscribe that trade unionism is still a major problem. Second,
Okay, okay. So it is not a major issue now.
no, sir, considering
Okay, it is not a major issue. That's good. And Mayuri, you are a botany graduate.
yes,
Tell me something about how rice can be fortified.
yes. rice can be said, as much as I know, fortification is adding extra minerals and micronutrients to improve the values. Sir, I can think about adding vitamin A with the rice because the iron deficiency remains a major problem. To the malnourished children, that way.
Okay, okay. Mayuri, you must have seen that organic foods right now are quite growing in terms of their consumption and production as well. But
Yes.
if we see in general, the price of organic products, despite saying that it is being produced naturally using natural manures, fertilizers, etc., organic foods are right now expensive as compared to normally grown products, whether it is vegetables, fruits. So, what is the reason why organic products are expensive? And if they are expensive, how can their production be sustainable?
Organic food are expensive because I found few reasons. One being it is still not, I mean, cultivated widely. So the so that actually helps. I mean, upscaling the cultivation will help reducing the cost a bit. And sir, secondly, not using any chemical fertilizers makes the maintenance a bit difficult. I mean, the loss after the pathogen attack and the pest attack might must have uh, I mean reduced the yield of the organic products. So in that case, I do not, sir, very realistically, I do not find that producing 100% organic food is very possible in very early days, because we still have to find out alternates for the chemicals that is still not there, at least in the tropical countries, which has more pest attack possible.
Okay, okay. Mayuri, you must have heard about the Assam Mizoram conflict, and
Yes.
Assam has issues with other neighboring states as well. So, when we look at it, what is the crux of this problem of this Assam Mizoram conflict?
Sir, right now I can think about two major issues. One is all the states has been carved out from the Assam province of British time. So
Hmm.
the boundaries may not always has been decided after consulting to the particular communities there. So that, I mean, even the recent Assam Mizoram border has a problem with that. That the Lusai community, they believes that the line has been drawn without taking their conscience. That is one. And secondly, the different terrain and the highly forested area made it difficult to manage a proper boundary.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, Mayuri, when Prime Minister recently went to Bangladesh, he went to a temple of the Matua community.
Yes,
Do you know something about the history of the Matua community?
yes, sir. Our
Tell me
prac-
briefly.
Sir, the movement started after 1872 census, when the Matua communities, which are earlier being considered as outcast, has been named as Chandals. So the movement takes place for upgrading their status from not Chandals but Namashudra. It has the movement has been started by Gurudas Thakur, which is, I mean, the temple was in Odakandi, from where the movement begins. It doesn't restrict it towards only identity, but he used a common term, Shikha ane Chetona, that education brings the conscience. After partition, the entire movement shifted towards the Thakurnagar region of West Bengal, from where the Matua communities, they still are considering the largest ethnic community in West Bengal.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mayuri.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayuri.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. You are a very good researcher. You're there in a very upcoming field also, and very important field. Why civil services?
Sir, civil services was not my childhood dream. It was only after coming to PhD I was interested in that. Sir, I believed that civil service will give me a job security, and also it is nowhere restricting me from doing what I wanted to do. I enjoy reading, I enjoy learning new things. It nowhere debars me, rather it expands the scope of the canvas and the opportunity. I took it as a better career opportunity. And that's why I continuously pursued both research and preparation.
Why many people are not opting for research work and they look for lucrative jobs, especially IITs, NITs, or the other institutes also?
Sir, in my personal opinion, it has a lot to do with the uncertainty associated with the fellowship. I mean, most common option available to me also as a PhD candidate is to opt for an foreign lab for a postdoctoral position. But then it is again a tenure track position. We still not have enough posts to absorb all the PhDs and other people who are coming out to uh, consider it. I believe that is one of the major reasons. And there are certain other reasons also.
Many postdoc fellows are not written. That's a true thing. Government of India has also launched some program to, incentivize the postdoc fellows or something like that by Department of Science and Technology.
Yes, sir. There is an ACRB stream for Department of Biotechnology that offers a good amount of fellowship and also certain contingency money to carry forward. It also has, sir, Ramalinga Swamy and fellowship to abduct the workers who are working out abroad to come here. But sir, these are all fellowship in nature. I mean, again, the issue of tenure track position is something that I believe is barring the.
You also have a hobby in science journalism, right? Or science awareness.
Yes, sir.
Can you comment on the science journalism in India? Many people say from the scientific community that science journalism is not very developed in India.
Yes, sir, because most of the population, I mean, popular daily magazines, we do not have a regular section. It still remains as a weekly affair, the science, the new research as well. Sir, and another problem that I felt is the lack of proper terminologies for the newly developing fields. Like for my field, I can say, sir, bioinformatics doesn't yet have a proper translated word that I can. So the language remains another barrier. And also, sir, there is a perception. I mean, the perception of science. I will say that it has increased after the COVID pandemic has taken place. People are generally showing awareness or getting interested towards how it works, how the strain is getting mutated or not. But still, it is still believed as a perception, like because science is also a changing field. So, I mean, making someone updated with it is a challenge. And I believe, sir, there is a sense of disconnection between the science journalist and the scientists regularly.
Uh, Tell me something about the field bioinformatics.
Yes, sir. Bioinformatics is analyzing the biological data, especially the DNA and RNA sequences, which are also considered as a big data, to help of certain informatics tool or some computer applications tools, which helps us to predict what the genome sequences contains, how we can predict normal or new proteins or genes that is there, and to get into their relatedness, considering the just like the variant that we can see that whether it is evolving or not by
Oh.
predicting bioinformatics.
Okay. Elon Musk, the popular entrepreneur, is working on something called as Neuralink. Have you heard of it? Neuralink.
No, sir, I cannot.
Okay. Can you tell me how naturally, without any intervention, how are plants responding to the climate change? Has it begun, or is something happening?
Uh, yes, sir. As per my knowledge, the rate of photosynthesis increases in most of the tropical plants with the till 40-50 degree. So in many cases, this has also already been taking place. And other than that, sir, a plant has a tendency to respond by changing the pattern. I mean, but regarding particularly climate changes, these effects are also varied with the temperature and the conditions available. Uh, Specific conditions, sir, I cannot.
Okay. Okay. Have you seen the functioning of Vigyan Prasar?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
think they are doing a good job?
Yes, sir. I got the opportunity to take part in one of their initiative in Indian International Science Forum that takes place in Kolkata. I have been a volunteer there, so I found that they are actually doing a very good job of coming people. I mean, reaching to people of all spheres, and also publishing for religion science paper, regional science paper, and also they have a TV channel. The OTT platform.
Okay. Can you tell me what is gain of function research?
So gain of function research, as much as I can understand, is gaining or attaining a new functions through the genetic modifications that you are inserting or incorporating a gene from an foreign elements to gain a specific or particular identity that is required by you.
A famous science journalist, Nicholas Wade. Have you heard of his name? Nicholas Wade.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. He has described that the COVID-19 was unintentional lab leak from Wuhan Institute of Virus. Have you have you heard of this theory?
Yes, sir. I have heard of this theory.
Yeah. So, what do you think is the reality? Do you believe in it?
Sir, I cannot really comment because considering the vast, I mean, even we are not very sure about how this virus is still maintaining its variability or infectability for so long. But considering, sir, we do not have any proof. I mean, this theory should not be going around because it will again increase a lot of. No,
Okay.
sir, I don't
No issue.
subscribe to this.
Many people regard CRISPR-Cas9 as a breakthrough or a very path-breaking event, sort of a thing. Why is it so? Can you explain in terms of a layman? Like,
Yes,
if you
sir.
want to explain for a layman? Yeah.
CRISPR-Cas9 it uses a techniques which acts as a molecular scissor. So it removes a particular sequence of a gene and get another sequence of gene that is our desirable trait inserted in a very comprehensive and easy manner. I mean, once it is standardized, we do not need to think about it in for conventional methods like cloning, and it also takes a lesser time. So it has breakthrough. It has considered as a breakthrough, and because its application is also sir wide ranging, starting from the human to plant, it is can be applied everywhere. So it is definitely a cutting edge.
What qualities do you have to become a good civil servant?
Uh, Sir, I believe I am sincere and hardworking. And being a PhD researcher, I accustomed to be work for long hours without any instant success. Success is a very rare event in experimental biology. Sir, secondly, sir, I am accustomed to allocate the resources. I plan before going to any field and any research that is there. Thirdly, sir, I also work as a method of trial and error. And if one protocol is not working, I go for an alternate path. I believe that is another qualities that I have to be outside.
Last question. Uh, there was a draft science and technology policy which is in circulation nowadays.
Yes, sir. The fifth science technology.
Yes, yes. Have you gone through that?
Yes, sir. I gone through this.
How is it? Can you comment on that?
Sir, as per my understanding, it raises three very major issues. The one being the concept of an one nation, one subscription theory that opens up the scientific research to every community. Secondly, it talks about a very interesting thing that, according to me, it talks about the academic age of a woman to be considered for promotions and jobs other than the biological and social age. Sir, and thirdly, it talks about getting India as a major innovation hub. Sir, still, I believe that one thing that it doesn't clearly mention the push of the certainty of the fellowship or any such employment avenues. So that is, I
Okay.
believe.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Over to Chairman, sir.
Mayuri,
Yes.
see, Mayuri, you need to prepare a little bit about West Bengal. And see, especially for all the Hindi speaking and northern states like Bengal, Bihar, UP. I mean, like mostly Bimaru states. So you need to be little different. You cannot go with that standard answers. Like, that's why I asked you what exactly would you suggest to improve the economic status of West Bengal? Gems and jewelry, those are small things. That's not the way. This shows that you have not given enough thought to the current situation or the potential of your state. Look at your state. It has got huge mineral reserve. It has got coal. It has got water. It has got iron ore. It has got dolomite. Everything is there. You just need to capitalize on it. Industrialization is what West Bengal can easily achieve. Work on that part. West Bengal. West Bengal is important. Why West Bengal is so poor? How to improve the situation of West Bengal and other social issues in West Bengal. That's all you need to prepare. Your 50% of your on that part only, right? That's all from my side. Best of luck.
Thank you.
So, Mayuri Mukherjee, to me, you come out to be emerged as a quite confident, good candidate. You have tremendous potential. Sure, being a researcher, you can get into details of better, right? You were pretty articulate, fairly clear and well expressed answers. Uh, you tend to be a little tentative at times, right? And you're not a good finisher. I mean, in the sense that very nicely you're describing things, and then half-heartedly you try and put a stop to your reply. So kind of semi-finished sentence, barely audible at the end of the sentence, last sentence typically. So without carrying out much modification into your articulation or communication style, you could look at these areas, right? Then you tend to hold yourself back a bit sometimes. Right? Coming to specifics, I put in close to about 5-6 questions to you, and El Nino and La Nina. Once again, you were a little tentative. You knew and you didn't know. You knew here and there. The answers were kind of half-hearted. So it requires a lot of preparation on your part. Not that these questions are going to be there in the actual interview, but the key takeaway from this interaction, in my opinion, for you is to really, whatever you are preparing, you prepare it well, comprehensive. Right? You should be dead sure, and that will remove all these rough edges, such as being tentative and being half-hearted at times about your articulation. So I think prep is the key. Preparation is the key. You said when is the interview?
So 2nd of September.
So this is about fortnight to go. So you can identify across areas, across current affairs, general awareness matters, your own domain area. You could typically identify few select topics, and that limited set of matters you could prepare very well. You can revisit those and get additional information. You are of course a better judge as to what all you know and what all needs to be supplemented and substantiated. GPS, how does it work? I had in fact pitch in to give you the technique, right? You had fairly described all around how GPS really works, what are the elements, but it is essentially the technique of triangulation which goes into it. That's the most fundamental. Now, for you to be a little more confident and to sound conviction, once again, my emphasis would be that you should, whatever little you prepare from now to 2nd of September, it should be well prepared so that it keeps you in good stead on the D-Day, right? Your answers to earthworm were okay. They help the soil in increasing its fertility in terms of unearthing, so to say, various nutrients and also making the soil more porous. Dark matter, black hole, were just So very brief answer. So one would really expect more comprehensive and little more detailed answers. Otherwise, you're pretty confident. You're quite a lady who holds the ground herself, her ground well. Okay, I'm sure you do. My questions around who am I and what would you have liked to be if you had not born as human. But typically, the objective of putting these questions was to really create some kind of self-awareness, because uh, interview at UPSC is all about your personality tests. Quite a few of these are questions will be psychological in nature, and my putting these couple of 2, 3 questions was to really make you aware about these aspects of the interview, right? So know yourself well. You can go back half an hour quietly, take a piece of paper and start writing out one page, each sentence starting with I. And you will be yourself surprised that you have revealed so much about yourself that you didn't know hitherto about yourself. So all the very best to you. You're a wonderfully good candidate. All the best. Thank you.
Mayuri, you are quite humble and confident. That's a good trait. Keep it up. But one thing I found was that your answers were a little bit short. I mean, you could be a little bit explanatory, whether it was related to questions on West Bengal or whether questions related to even to your botany, because you have a PhD now, right? So, I mean, things like increasing crop yields or fortification, things like that, which are related to food security. Or somebody may also ask you about what are the major crops in West Bengal and what are the issues with it. So, I mean, on that, I found that probably you could be a little bit more explanatory. And also, since you are born in Kolkata and you have spent almost a good part of your life there, so social issues will also be asked, whether it is trade unionism problem is there or some historical facts related to the city. What I found was that you were a little, I mean, your answers were preemptive. So you can be a little bit explanatory. That will work to your favor. Okay. Because then you'll be able to engage the interviewers much. So that is important. So look into it. Okay. All the best.
You did well, Mayuri. Most of the answers you handled very calmly and in a composed manner. You have good confidence levels. So I think you will be able to do well in the interview. Assert have already given the feedback. Just keep following that. A lot of questions on botany, viruses, and I think all the science related questions, R&D in India, all this they can ask, right? So just keep preparing and you'll do very well. Thank you.
Mayuri, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sir, one thing is the why civil service answer. I mean, was it? I have been asked it by Ankit sir.
You tell me, were you not satisfied with your answer?
No, I believe, but I don't know whether this looks how, because I had different.
See, try to understand why this question is asked. See, this YIS question has got two spectrum. First, just to initiate a conversation, right? That what is the first thing that comes from your heart or your mind that sets the tone of the interview? Because you go inside, and if you get this as your first question, that's a starter. That doesn't reduce or increases your marks. If you give a very flashy, stylish answer, then you won't get marks. That's not this question is not for marks. Now, if you get this question in the middle, somewhere in the middle, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or in the end, that means the board has got some doubt about your what do you call, not intention. That's like you're not very sure about why you want to become an IAS officer. Probably you got a peer pressure, or you got a societal pressure, or you just that your friends are doing it and you're doing it. That's it. That means you're not very sure about that. But if you usually get this question in the beginning, that then you should not be worried about. Go with the conviction. try to understand that answer is going to set the tone of the interview. If you get in the beginning, if you're getting in the middle or towards the end, then probably you have made some mistake somewhere. Or board is like, board is like confused. I mean, like, or maybe I have got doubt whether you really want to become an IAS officer or not. That's all. Otherwise, this question doesn't give marks and doesn't reduce either. Right? So don't worry about that. I was asked, I said that this is a very good service. This gives multiple horizons to explore, to work, to contribute. So ultimately, what exactly the country wants from you? You contribute towards the development of the country, and at least if you talk about the economic sense, then whatever the country has invested in you, you should be able to optimally give back. So for me, it's like, this service gives that opportunity that you can pay back whatever is invested in you, plus in terms of your own desire to contribute towards development of the country. So both ways. So that's why I want to become an IAS officer. It's so simple and straight, right? Don't worry about this question. This just, if you get this question in the beginning, and if I want to somehow want to harass you or put you into discomfort zone, I can do that. But trust me, that doesn't affect your marks, right?
Yes.
That's a fact.
Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civils Daily.